Hello and welcome to the Not Gambling Advice baseball betting stream. It is Monday, April 3rd, and we have an excellent show ahead of you. I got my picks. We're going to go over the model. We're going to go over some prize picks entries. And then we have 10, 11, 12 different MLB cappers that are going to come on and give their picks. For everyone new, because I know there's plenty of people coming in, this is still a new concept. But this is a competition, right? It's my picks tracked on Pickit, on the Pickit app, and then everyone else, when they give their picks, they'll be tracked. And they're being tracked because at the end of the year, we're going to see who's up the most amount of units. And whoever is will win World Series tickets. Second place gets a $500 cash prize. So, if I win, someone who subscribes to this Twitch channel is going to get those World Series tickets. If I finish second, one of the subscribers is going to get a $500 cash prize. And even Arm Layton, someone who's come on today, for the Just Baseball Show listeners, he's given his World Series tickets to one of the listeners of the Just Baseball Show. So we had a 4-2 day yesterday on Sunday, but those Saturday and Sunday picks, they're not tracked in this competition. So let's do a recap of Friday's picks, if we remember, because they went pretty damn well. So we had the Miami Marlins money line against the New York Mets. And quite honestly, it was one of the worst games I've ever watched. And for a couple of different reasons. First, I thought the defense on both sides was bad. I thought that nobody really put up good at-bats the entire game. But Jorge Soler led off with a home run. The Mets only scored one run in the entire game. The Marlins piled on with a Jazz Chisholm home run, and we ended up hitting that. It wasn't that fun to watch, but it was because we ended up winning the bet. So cash the Miami Marlins money line for me, which was given out on stream. The next bet was the Colorado Rockies versus San Diego Padres under 8, and that went well under the total. Good outings from both pitchers, and that's all it is to it. Great under there, but unfortunately on prize picks, didn't hit. What are you going to do? Christian Javier had his 6 strikeouts, but Gene Segura couldn't hit water if he fell off a boat. What a terrible pick by me. But as you know, we're always going to be transparent. We're always going to show records, and we stand behind our wins, and we stand behind our losses. Lost the prize picks entry, won both game picks, so according to the contest, I went up 1.5 units there. Of course, giving out picks to subscribers, other picks, that's great. Before this competition, that's how we did. And ultimately, I'm going to take a day where I'm up 1.5 units. So, what's next on the docket, Cohen? We have my game picks sponsored by BetMGM. Make sure to use code JB200. If you wager $10 on an MLB game while using that code, you get $200 in free credits. No brainer. So guess what it's time for? We got to put up the BetMGM flag. Let's take these down right here. BetMGM. Where's the little hook? There it is. All right, let's get into my game picks of the day. First up is the Cincinnati Reds money line at plus 105. I'm currently seeing it on BetMGM for plus 100. I would take it as long as they are underdogs. And let me tell you why. So the Reds are kind of my favorite bad team in Major League Baseball. No, they're not incredible. Did they take 2 of 3 from the Pirates? Yes. But again, it's the Pirates. But here's what I'm looking at when I look at a Reds bet. So first of all, the model, which we will talk about later, is showing like a minus 150. And what I think is important is when you look at the model, there's about 8 to 10 games that show value. But I use that as like a starter point and then I move on. So the reason I like the Mets today is the Reds at home, because they're a really young team, played better at home and against lefties last season. At home, OPS over 700. Against lefties, OPS over 700. When you look against righties, when you look at on the road, they're in the 650 OPS range. So they're just a completely different team. Makes sense, right? Young teams like that, when they're on the road, maybe they're going out to clubs, they show up to the game a little bit hungover. Maybe when they're at home, they sleep in bed with their girlfriends or whatever you want to talk about. They are a better team at home. And they're going to be facing a Chicago Cubs team that is throwing Drew Smyly. And Drew Smyly might be the bigger name than Connor Overton, but when you look at the stats, I personally think Connor Overton might be the better pitcher today. I project him as the better pitcher. xERA projects him as the better pitcher. He was pretty solid last year. He's not the best arm in the world, but neither is Drew Smyly. Drew Smyly's getting up there a little bit in age, and while he put up like a 3.47 ERA, it was more of a 4.1 xERA, and as he ages, I don't expect Drew Smyly to get better. And another small edge, right? We have the Chicago Cubs, who just played a 3-game series and now have to travel to Cincinnati. It's not a big edge because it's not that big of a travel, but it's just about piling these small edges, right? So I see a Reds team that's an underdog in this matchup, and I can't really make much sense of it considering that I think Connor Overton against a Cubs lineup that is all right-handed. You have Ian Happ and you have Cody Bellinger. Ian Happ could give us troubles, but Cody Bellinger doesn't have a hit yet. We have to watch out for Dansby Swanson, but Dansby, again, is a better hitter off left-handed pitching, and he's going to get Connor Overton today. And beyond both of these two starting pitchers, the Cubs are going to be without Adbert Alzolay because he threw 2 innings yesterday, and they're probably going to be without Mark Leiter Jr., so they're without those swingmen types to get them into the later innings. So if Drew Smyly struggles at all, which he did in his first game against the Reds last season, it could kind of pile on because they don't really have the arms available today to put in after Drew Smyly. Overton, he has plenty of arms available in that Reds bullpen. It's not the greatest bullpen in the world, but it's not too bad either. But the one problem, and something that could give us fits, is that Alexis Diaz, the closer for the Reds, he's not going to be able to pitch today because he's pitched the last 2 games. So you have positives and negatives, but there's more overwhelming positives for the Reds. And if you consider that the Cubs are getting a lot of the money, a lot of the betting tickets, but the line opened at plus 110 for the Reds and has moved down to plus 100. So I'm really confident in this Reds pick. Producer Cohen, we got a question?
The chat's wondering if this is pre-recorded.
No, this isn't pre-recorded. What's up? Hey, pre-recorded. What's up? I'm right here. Reds money line. Now, I know the lines move, so that's why I'm saying I would take the Reds as long as they are the dog. So even up to minus 105, because I think they should be about a minus 115, minus 120 favorite. The model thinks they should be minus 150. I think they should be minus 115, minus 120. So I'm still getting value, and then the model thinks there's plenty of value. But I think the model's slightly overvaluing them. But it's good to see, right, that they love the Reds today. And when the model gives me 8 to 10 picks of value, I pick my favorites. I landed on the Reds money line, and that's who I'm riding today. The next pick, Producer Cohen. Also, give W's to Producer Cohen in the chat. He's killing it every single day. I'm taking this Rockies versus this Dodgers under 9 runs. So right now it's moved down to 8.5, and I would still take it at 8.5. The model actually says it should be at 6.5. And when I saw that, right, because I look at all the plays and I find the edges, I really became enamored with this under for multiple reasons. So Ryan Feltner is the pitcher for the Colorado Rockies. And no, he's not very good. And I know you're going to say, look at his spring trading stats, look at all this kind of stuff. I don't really care about that. What I care about is how he's done against the Dodgers in particular. So through 28 plate appearances against the Dodgers' current roster, Feltner is rocking a 204 expected batting average. That's really low. A 342 expected WOBA, ex-WOBA. Not great, but not bad either. And then a 374 expected slugging, which is important. We really want to know, are these guys hitting the ball hard? Are they hitting it for extra bases? Not only has Feltner actually thrown 9 innings against the Dodgers last season and only allowed 2 runs, but the fact is that in Los Angeles today, at Dodger Stadium, it's one of the lowest run projected environments of the day. Ballpark Pal gives it minus 42% from average of hitting a home run there because we have 15 mile an hour winds blowing in, and it's supposed to be in the cooler temperatures around 53 to 55 degrees. It's not a great place to hit at today. So, and the Dodgers offense, have we been watching them lately? They aren't showing up, right? Yeah, they scored a ton of runs against Madison Bumgarner. I'm not giving them a ton of credit for that. When you look at the rest of the way the offense is hit, it hasn't been very good, right? They've scored 16 runs in 4 games. 10 of them came against Madison Bumgarner. I think they struggle a little bit against Feltner, but I also think that the Rockies continuing on the road might struggle against Michael Grove. So Michael Grove is a right-handed pitcher for the Dodgers, and the fact that he's even getting started in this game kind of shows you the Dodgers' level of confidence in this young pitcher, right? The problem with Michael Grove, not very good against lefties. So if this was against a full left-handed lineup, I'd be a little bit nervous. Luckily for us, the Rockies are predominantly right-handed, right? There's Charlie Blackmon, there's Ryan McMahon, but there's not a lot of hitters that give me some concern. The only hitter that I'm concerned about is CJ Cron, but I looked into it. How does CJ Cron do against the Dodgers? Because the Dodgers are super analytical. They know how to pitch certain guys who they face all the time, and CJ Cron, being within their division, is a guy they face what seems like once a week. 514 OPS against the Dodgers last season. And he had a great season last year. One of the worst teams he hits against. The Dodgers know how to pitch CJ Cron. And I think they're going to stay away from him because the Rockies have scored 16 runs in their game so far. Cron has 7 RBIs. He's been the main driver of this offense. I think Michael Grove, who's better against right-handers, the weather is bad. I think Feltner can limit damage. And considering we have line movement in the direction that we like, give me this under 8.5, 9, don't care, because I don't think it's going over 8 runs. I really think the line should be 7.5 or 8. And then if Vegas did that, if BetMGM did that, they'd give so much more money in the over, because you look at these two pitchers and you're like, are they that good? Dodgers crush pitching, right? Feltner's terrible. He might have a pretty decent day, considering, too, that the Dodgers bullpen has not really been used in the past couple of days. They got like Andre Jackson for 3 innings. So they should have a fully rested bullpen, and the Rockies should, too, because all they threw yesterday was Brent Suter. There's a lot of different variables here that point me towards the under. I think it's a great play today. So I'm rocking with the Reds money line. I'm rocking with the Dodgers versus the Rockies. Under 9 runs, under 8.5, whatever line you see, as long as it's not 7.5, I think you're in for a good bet. I'm very excited about those two plays. So next up, bring out Producer Cohen.
Model.
Bring out the model, Producer Cohen. W's for Producer Cohen. All right. Remember, this is Ballpark Pal Model. We're going to look at some games that the model is showing a ton of value on. I already broke down some games that I like, but let's talk about some other games on the slate that are showing a ton of value from the model. But here's maybe why I'm not playing them. But if you don't agree with me, play them because the model likes them. Let's get to the first game, Producer Cohen. The first game is the Yankees versus the Phillies. So a lot of people are wondering, Peter, why don't you bet on the Yankees? Why don't you do it? Because I'm a sick man. My brain isn't wired to bet on Yankees games, and I'll tell you why. I'm a Yankees fan, and when I sit and I have a bet on the Yankees, I get way too anxious, and I literally don't enjoy the game. If I don't enjoy the game betting, I don't want to do it. And I'm a mush. Every single time I bet on the Yankees, they were my least profitable team last year. I couldn't figure them out, people. I couldn't figure them out. They're my team. I watch them every day, and I can't figure them out. I don't know why. I think I watch them with blinders on because I can analyze them. I can see what's happening during the game, but I can't bet on them. So I banned myself. Doesn't mean you should. And let's bring back up that model. Can we make it a little bigger, Producer Khan? Perfect. So we have Taijuan Walker taking on Nestor Cortez. So this is a prime spot to fade the team traveling off Sunday Night Baseball, right? And the model is showing that while the Yankees are often overvalued, they think they're priced correctly. And if you look at the first 5 innings, there's also a decent line. They think they win through the first 5 at about 51.3% of the time. So the model likes the Yankees, and it makes sense. The system play is whatever team is playing on Sunday Night Baseball, you fade them. But it's not both teams, right? The Rangers play the Orioles today, but the Rangers played at home last night, and now they don't have to travel. So there's no system play there. It's the team that then has to travel after Sunday Night Baseball, which usually ends around 10, 11 at night. They don't get much sleep, and they often come out flat. That's the system, and it's been really profitable over the years. So I can't play the Yankees, but I highly consider you making a move on the Yankees. But another reason why you might have to stay off is the public is hammering the Yankees, hammering them. So take that into account. The model is showing value on the Yankees. The system says to play the Yankees, but the betting public is all over them. So make your decisions. Of course, I'm not going to do it, But even when the public is on it, I still think it's a pretty solid play. Taijuan Walker is just so inconsistent. And I think Nestor, who never really gets to face this Phillies lineup, they might have troubles because of the varying leg lifts, the different arm angles. It's tough to square him up when you've never faced him before. So I think the Phillies bats are going to come out flat. I'd consider a Phillies team total under. I would consider maybe a Nestor Cortes Jr. fantasy score. A lot of different ways you can use this system to your advantage. Producer Cohen, let's get to the next game, my friend. Red Sox versus the Pirates. So I was texting with our guy Colby Olson last night, and I said, Colby, I know Cutter Crawford is not very good, but I kind of like him against the Pirates. I checked the model, and look at that. They make the Red Sox a minus 225 favorite compared to what they are listed at around minus 145. So you say, Peter, why didn't you play it? What are you talking about? Look at all that value. Look at the under. Look at all this stuff that's available towards us. Here's why. The Red Sox are one of the most public plays of the day. They've won 2 in a row, or I don't know if they won 2 in a row. They won 2 of 3 from the Orioles. And the model is showing a lot of value, but everyone is hammering it, and that line ain't budging, ladies and gentlemen. That line is not moving. BetMGM, our friends, are very confident sitting there with Red Sox tickets. So, if you need a lean, give me the Red Sox. But I can't bet it with everyone and their mother piling on the Red Sox because also I don't necessarily know what I'm going to get from Cutter Crawford. Now, I don't know what I'm going to get from Yohan Oviedo, but I definitely don't know what I'm going to get from Cutter Crawford. Fun fact about Cutter Crawford, he throws a cutter. I think that's kind of funny. You may not. I think it's funny that his main pitch is his first name, but that's for another story. This game I think is pretty interesting because the Red Sox have been hot. The Pirates bats have not shown out very well. The model is showing value on the under. I would not take this under. Like, again, model shows value, doesn't mean you got to take it. These two pitchers, I really don't know what I'm going to get from them. Some, I can look at how they're going to face against the lineup, look at past success, and be like, okay, this matchup makes sense. I looked into it. It doesn't look great for either of them. So while I would lean the Red Sox, model loves it. So does the betting public, and I'm a little bit in between. So I'm going to pass on this game. It's probably not even going to be that entertaining. The only way it is if it goes way over. So, again, I would lean the over, and I would lean Red Sox. Model hates the over. Model loves the Red Sox, but everyone, their mother is on the Red Sox. So, I'm staying away from this game. Next up on the docket, Producer Cohen, Padres Diamondbacks. This game is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So, we see the projected score, 3.79 to 3.75. Now, what the model spits out is a common score. But that doesn't mean that the Diamondbacks win every one of these matchups when they simulate the game over 1,000 times, right? So they actually have the Diamondbacks winning 48%. I kind of disagree with the model. I would take the Diamondbacks. I think they're a pretty solid play here today, considering that Ryan Weathers, I don't know if he's that guy. He's a 23-year-old, so he's still so young. But he's been up and down from the major leagues, and the Padres, they chose to go to him here, but again, Joe Musgrove is injured, so he's kind of one of those guys who's probably going to bounce in between AAA and the big leagues. And he has just not had a good big league season yet. He just really hasn't. And when you watch him, this stuff doesn't jump off the table. He doesn't look that great. So I think a play on the Diamondbacks is very interesting, but what I really wanted to talk about is that the model really likes the under here. Why? I don't really understand. I think the Diamondbacks are going to have a pretty good day against Ryan Weathers. But I think it's key Ryan Nelson. What are we going to get from this young pitcher? Right? Now, there is another system. The system is fade a rookie making his first start on the road. So if a rookie has never made a debut and is making his first start on the road, you fade him. I should have done it yesterday. Jared Schuster, really good young prospect. Struggled in the first inning. We did it with Brian Bale, right? Prospect I love. Faded him. Worked. As soon as Grayson Rodriguez comes up, if his first start is on the road, I'm fading him. It doesn't matter. These guys have issues. Ryan Nelson doesn't fit in that category, though. He's made some starts, and he looks pretty damn good. Like, there's a reason Diamondbacks pulled him up, even though they have Brandon Pfaadt sitting in the minor leagues. I would definitely consider the Diamondbacks, even though the model only doesn't value them as much as I value them. But again, I don't really want to go against the model here. The Padres are the better team, and they've been a bit lackluster, and they get to stay at home. No travel for them. Now, the Diamondbacks, they just have to travel from Los Angeles to San Diego, which is a very easy drive. That's why I'm not putting a ton of stock. It's only a 2-hour drive. But again, you got to drive down there. Maybe do they come out slow? Maybe is that why the model likes the under? A lot of different conflicting factors. But that's why I like to go over the model, right? Because the model is going to show you value on something, but that doesn't necessarily mean you should take it. The model is going to show value on basically every game, on every total and something, but that doesn't mean you should take it. We got to look into the game, use our baseball brains, look at betting percentages, which you can find on Pickett. Again, all of our picks are tracked on Pickett. So you look, and then you make the best decision. If the model backs it up, it might give you that more confidence to up the unit size, or if the model's against it, maybe lower the unit size. For example, Guardians moneyline, model hated the Guardians yesterday. Model said they should have been plus 150. We got them at minus 110. Cashed. The model's not always right. It's a good starter to point you in directions for then you to do your own research. And there's plenty of research to do, and that's what I do every day to try and give you guys my winners. So next up, time for player props. Time to switch the flag. Flag switching time. Flag switching time. Bang. Looks good. Looks great to me. Let's get into my prize picks entries. First, we got to have a talk. Jose Sirigat is not in the lineup. Are you kidding me? Why is he not in the lineup? He has such a good matchup today. He's a reverse splits guy. He matches up well against Trevor Williams' pitch mix. He's been hitting the crap out of the ball, averaging 93.2 miles an hour average exit velo. He's already hit a ball 110 miles an hour. The bat looks good. Why are we resting him, Rays? Do they have data that I don't? Was it going to mush anyway? I don't think so. So we got to look for a new leg. Now, I'm not sure if it voided my prize picks yet. Obviously, I give my plays out earlier, so maybe you got it in and you got to check if it was voided. But luckily for us, I still love this Trey Turner under 8.5. So basically, the pitch for Trey Turner, because as we know, he's a very good baseball player. This is kind of my way of implementing that Sunday Night Baseball trend without betting on the Yankees, so I'm not freaking out the entire time. Trey Turner weirdly has not shown a willingness to steal bases, and I'm not particularly sure why. I can assume, I can infer that it's because he doesn't want to get injured or something like that, but we see plenty of players stealing bases, and I don't even think he has an attempt yet. I know he doesn't have a stolen base. So I'm not too worried about that, especially because Nestor is a left-handed pitcher, and it's harder to steal on lefties than it is on righties. Of course, he could ruin it for us and steal a base, but that's gambling. But at the end of the day, he hasn't been doing that lately, and I'm not confident that he does it today. So he's plus 130 on books to go over 1.5 bases. So to get an 8.5 fantasy score, he'd have to have a pretty damn good day. And the books already think that he's not going to have the best day today. And when you consider that I think the Phillies offense is going to come out flat, even if he gets a walk, let's say he does get a hit or something, he's got to get driven in, right? He needs an RBI. He needs a lot more to get to 8.5 fantasy score. And I think the Phillies offense is going to come out flat. Now, could not happen, could not hit, of course, but I think there's a lot of edges here, considering this is his first time ever facing Nestor Cortes Jr. That doesn't bode well for him. Like I said, when you're facing Nestor for the first time, it's hard to square him up. Different arm angles, different release points. And Turner doesn't hit the cutter and the sweeper well. He does, but not as well as any of the other pitches. Like, he's good at hitting curveballs, excellent fastball hitter. He's a good changeup hitter. He's a very good hitter. But if we're finding what pitches he struggles against the most, that's the cutter and the sweeper, 2 of Nestor Cortes' 3 most used pitches. So I like the under 8.5 fantasy. I would go find another line that you want to pair with it, but we're going to be welcoming on 10, 11 cappers today, and they're going to have prize picks entries. So you can use Trey Turner to your advantage. If you think I'm smoking something gross, maybe you fade it. I wouldn't recommend it, but of course it's your prerogative. All right? I really like Trey Turner under 8.5 fantasy, and they took Jose Siri off the board, or they took him out of the lineup because the Rays are scared. You'd think they want to win the game because Jose Siri was going to go yard. But it is what it is. So the picks of the day, Reds money line, plus 105 for a unit, plus 100, doesn't matter. Dodgers versus Rockies under 8.5. I have it at 9, but I'd play it at 8.5. And then I like Trey Turner which again, this entry won't be tracked because Jose Siri got taken out of the lineup. So, but I do like Trey Turner under 8.5 fantasy score. Is it time to welcome on some people, Producer Cohen? Who we got first up? Tomas. This is going to be awesome because my man is hotter than me. He is. Tomas, you are 16-3. You're 16-3, not in the competition because, of course, you have weekend plays. But this man is about as hot as humanly possible. He can't lose. Tomas, tell us about your bet this morning. How'd that go?
Oh, it went pretty well, Peter. I'm already up 2 units on the day. Hit Brewers money line, no sweat, 10-0, fading Carlos Carrasco. We're feeling good. This is the ultimate heater to start the year. We're gonna keep it going.
I love it, man. So let's talk about your first play of the day because you already cashed with the Brewers. I mean, you haven't already cashed, but right now the score is. Oh no, is the game over? Did they mercy rule them?
Yep.
No, it's
10-0.
just over. It's 10-0. Good for you, cashed already. Let's get into your first pick of the day, which is the Astros minus 1.5 on the run line against those less than pesky Detroit Tigers.
Yeah,
Why do you like
the
Astros
here? I'm going to take the Stros here. I really love Hunter Brown. I think that's the first key for it. Also, too, this line opened up at minus 200, now at minus 225. And when it comes to the Tigers, they were one of the worst road teams last year. They only won 30 games on the road. And if you look at the Astros, they faced left-handed pitching really well. Matthew Boyd getting the start for the Tigers. 40-13 last season, the Astros against left-handed pitching. And it's the Tigers. The Astros split a series against the White Sox. They're at home. Let's get real. If they're going to win this game, they're going to win by more than one run. Give me the run line. No sweater.
Dude, the Tigers are so bad.
They're really bad.
Tigers are so bad. They just made me literally sick and cough on camera. I was on the Tigers money line yesterday, and it was a gut pick. But I did have food poisoning on Saturday, so I feel like my gut got messed up. Because, oh my gosh, were they non-existent. I was like, Tigers, have some pride. You're getting roasted by the Rays on social media. It's going viral. They're like, oh, we're just having batting practice here at the Trop because we get to face the freaking Tigers. They lost by 10 runs. I thought plus 200, come on. Half unit, that's worth it. And they got no hit through 6 innings, Tomas. No hit through 6 innings. Now, I do like Hunter Brown too. The model, we back in? We're back in. The model likes the Astros too. They should kill them. I guess my only thing is that, like, of course, this isn't like an obvious pick, but it's like a no-doubter. Are you worried about it maybe just being like it's too good to be true, if that makes sense?
I think I could see where you're coming from there, but I think when it comes to the Astros especially, the Tigers are just so bad. I mean, you said it yourself. They are just really bad. I mean, they don't have pitching. Their best hitter is Javier Baez, and at the end of the day, we all see Javier Baez swing at balls that are, 5-10 feet out in front of him. He's not a consistent hitter. I just see Houston in this lineup against this matchup. It feels like a no-brainer. It might be too good to be true, but I love the Astros at home. The numbers back it up as well. And, of course, Vegas is behind me, so I'll take it.
I love it, my man. Let's get to your second play of the day, which is the Tampa Bay Rays. Another really good team who showed out against those terrific Tigers. Let us know why you like the Rays at minus 114 through the first 5 innings.
First off, with this Rays team, they surprised me. I mean, I didn't expect them to beat the season series against the Tigers opening day. Yeah, but they played really well. This team that could probably make some noise, come October if they find a way to get in that wild card spot. They're a very pesky team. The Rays have always been very consistent that way these past couple of years. But, Peter, I know you got your guy in Cal Quantrill, right? That's your guy. The guy going for the Rays today, Drew Rasmussen, this is my guy. This is my guy, okay? He went 11-7 last year, 2.84 ERA, and I think he's going to be even better this year. He's going against a horrible Nationals teams. I know they got the win yesterday against the Braves, but the Nats are really bad. They're almost to the same level as, let's just say, those terrific Tigers you were talking about. I love the Rays spot here. Give me the -0.5 first 5. This is just one of those games where it's a no-brainer. That is my team. Drew Rasmussen day. Let's rock.
I love Drew Rasmussen. I think he's so good, dude. I mean, he's been working on this breaking ball, and guys who come over to the Rays, they teach them this slider sweeper thing, kind of similar to what the Yankees do, kind of similar to what your Astros do. And they just turn guys into beasts. If we remember Drew Rasmussen and JP Fireeyes, they came over in the Willy Adames trade. A trade that's now looking really good for both sides. At the time, it was like, oh, the Brewers killed that trade. They got Willy Adames, all-star level shortstop. Drew Rasmussen is developing into one of the best pitchers in baseball, and I grabbed him late in my fantasy league because the guys in my fantasy league are idiots. And I grabbed him. And now I'm super happy because he's going to shove against the Nats today. So your next pick. You're riding with the Yankees and you're laying juice. Tell us why.
I'm laying the juice, and it's funny because I know I joined in and I see you talking about the Yankees, and I said, yep, there we go. I mean, that's why I don't like to bet on the Astros myself, for me being a Houston guy. But looking at the Yanks money line, it opened up around minus 130, minus 135, all the way juiced up to minus 175. You brought up the point, fading the teams who lost on Sunday Night Baseball, then having to go on the road. And it's Nestor Cortez. I am a big Nestor believer. I love what he does with the different leg kicks, the different moves that he does. And also, to this Phillies lineup, they're 0-3, but I think people are overvaluing them because they went to the World Series. But they forget, Philly doesn't have Bryce Harper. They don't have Rhys Hoskins. And they're still trying to figure out what their bullpen situation is going to be like. They look shaky against Texas. I mean, Zach Wheeler didn't pitch very well at all. This is one of those opportunities for the Yankees to get that big-time win against the team that was in the World Series last year. Cortez's first start, Yankee Stadium, minus 175. I love it. Let's lay the juice. Let's rock.
I love it, man. I'm glad somebody's on it that's not me, so at least I can root for some people. I guess, yeah, for me, like, it's such a big money line. Let's say, and this is your official play and you're playing it, but how else would you attack the Yankees? Like, maybe would you consider a first five bet, right? Because the model still loves the first five. Maybe Phillies bats come out slow and then heat up later in the game, even though I don't think they will. But for anyone who doesn't want to lay juice, would you consider first five? Like, what led you to the money line rather than the first five?
I think what led me for the money line is because I think if this game gets past, let's just say for the first 5 innings, right? Nestor pitches pretty well and the Phillies are hanging around. I'm just worried about one swing. You know what I mean? That's when I look at the first 5 and I look at the power potential in these lineups going against this certain type of pitching. And I just like the Yankees full game because when I look at it, I'm more comfortable playing Yankees run line than I would first 5.
Interesting.
And the reason why that I would say that is because when I look at this Philly bullpen later in the game, who are they going to pitch? They pitched majority of their guys yesterday in that 2-1 loss to the Rangers. Then they got blown out the first 2 games. I mean, they've pitched almost their whole bullpen the last 3 days. And then you're going to have to go face this Yankee lineup on the road after traveling Sunday Night Baseball. I mean, I'm about to talk myself into betting the Yankees run line. I mean, my goodness. I love it. Give me the Yanks. I'm all in today. I love it.
I'm in. I'm down for my favorite team to win.
There we go.
This is the hottest MLB bettor in the game. It's not me. It's this guy, Tomas. Let's. Do you have any more picks for us? You're done?
I got nothing else. Nothing else. Oh, just want to say this real quick. Guys, give me a follow on Twitter, T_Romo5. My TikTok also as well, Tomas.Romo1. Post all my picks there every day.
Absolutely, my guy. And you're writing for Just Baseball. You're covering Astro stuff. I assume you're going to be writing betting stuff soon because you can't lose. Appreciate you, Tomas. We'll see you on the next stream. But we're going to bring on someone else. Definitely go make sure to follow Tomas Romo on Twitter. Next up, Producer Cohen. Oh, man, it's the bad man.
What's good?
How you doing, my friend? Baby? Talk to us. How have you been doing? How's your weekend?
Right now, MLB season, we are 12-5 plus 8.58 units. So, feeling pretty good. Freddie Peralta masterclass to start my day. Love that.
So, basically,
he's so good.
Our guy Jake, he is almost as hot as Tomas Romo, like killing the game right now. That's why I love this show because, you know, while I'm trying my best with my picks, you know, I'm not going to win every play. But everyone else has been killing it so far, including you, my friend. So why don't you give us your first pick, which is the Cincinnati team total over 4. I mean, I love it because I'm on the Reds money line. Tell us why you like it.
So the reason why I'm on the team total outside of the actual money line is that I got to see more out of Overton. I know he pitched a little bit last year, but for these type of guys, like I said, I'm not the biggest baseball, when it comes historian or I had to start watching it last season, but I just started grinding the X stats. So I'm a big X stats guy. I did my homework, did my research. So for guys like this, I got to see it. So, but I do like the matchup today for the team total because Drew Smiley, despite the Reds losing a couple guys in and out of this lineup, this is still a really good lineup when it comes to hitting left-handed pitchers. And you look at ballpark pal today, which I know you like. I think they got 4 players up there. I'm going to pull up right now on my Twitter. They have Stevenson, Friedel. Gosh, I can't remember. There's 4.
TJ
Will
Friedel.
Myers is on there. Yeah, there's just a bunch of Reds players on there, which I woke up to that because I locked it in last night at 3.5, and I definitely brought a smile to my face. But yeah, I think this lineup matches up really well against Drew Smiley. Great America ballpark. Asking for 4 or 5 runs is usually not too much to ask for. And yeah, I think this Reds lineup absolutely gets after him.
2 guys who came up, Tomas and then Jake, who are winning like nobody's business. And Jake has become such a great MLB capper. He's using all the data to his advantage, and he brings us winners. And he's going to continue to bring us winners all year. Jake, thank you so much for coming on. Where can people find you on Twitter? Because they gotta tail plays. Because again, this is one of your plays, but I assume your card is bigger. You have more plays. You might go live. Like, you host a Twitter space. Like, let us know where people can find you.
Jake MLB 31. I got 2 other plays up for rest of the day if you want to find it on there.
Oh, you got more plays for me?
Yeah, I can whisper it out real quick.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Do we have them tracked?
No.
No.
Not.
Okay. Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah.
Let us know other plays.
I wouldn't mind them being tracked though. I like these plays still, but I did get it in a little late, obviously. So the other 2 plays I'm on Royals first 5 money line. Not too much handicap here. I mean, I guess there's quite a bit of handicap. It's Royals money line against the freaking Blue Jays, right? So Brady Singer, obviously, this is the Royals ace. I don't know why he's pitching right now, but this is definitely their best pitcher against the Blue Jays lineup, who's obviously very talented, stacked top to bottom. But this Royals lineup, I don't know if you watched that Twin series, they should have scored so many more runs than what they were supposed to. I remember the last game, they scored no runs. They had runners on scoring position for 7 out of 9 innings, and 5 of those innings, they had 1 or less outs. And I bet them both games. So, I had Twins win at 1 game, but I had Royals money. Either way, this team should be scoring way more runs. And I like this team's offense this year. I think they've improved through just growing up more as players, and I think they can get after Jose Barrios today, who I think is going to improve, but he was really bad on the road today and opening up his season debut on the road against a super, super due team for a lot of positive regression, which is Kansas City Royals offense. I'm going to go ahead and back Brady Singer, and I'm going to fade Jose Barrios today at the money line.
It's a really smart play. Trivia question for you, Jake. Do you know who leads the league in hard hit percentage? Which team?
It's probably the Royals.
Kansas City Royals.
Dude, I've been watching. They've been smacking the baseball. It's been very upsetting.
There's not find the holes, but they will. I mean, that's a great play. And your second one?
My second one of the day is, well, I actually kind of forgot it already. Sorry, I locked this in like forever ago. We're on the Orioles today. So it's Sunday night baseball fade. That's a system that I've learned from you. And also, I don't think this is a bad matchup. So this Royals lineup.
Wait, but before you continue, just so you know, the Sunday night baseball system is for teams traveling. So it's like the Rangers played at home yesterday, and then they still play at home, so the system wouldn't pertain to them. It would only pertain to the Phillies in this matchup. There are some times where, let's say the Rangers were at home and then they have to travel after that home game, but the fact that they're still at home, they don't fit the system. But that doesn't mean the Orioles are not a bad play at all. It just doesn't fit that particular Sunday night baseball system.
Yeah, I got that. Well, I like the Orioles outside of that reason as well. So here we go. So Kyle Bradish, I got to give Javon credit for finding this guy out. Obviously, I think he should be due for more regression this year, but something about a slider he found, either he was in AAA over the All-Star break, this guy became an absolute stud. So the first half of the season last year, this man had a ERA of 7.38 in 46 innings. Not very good. But post All-Star break, he became a whole different pitcher, 71 innings pitched, a 3.28 ERA. He's became an absolute stud. So I don't mind backing him here at plus 128. So I got it. I'm not sure that's at now. Mine's been ripping towards the Orioles. And John Gray, he's definitely a very good pitcher for having your 4-hole. But this Orioles lineup has just been raking. These young guns, they pulled up Adley, Gunnar, Santander's hitting the baseball hard. This team has just been, they've been showing out. So I like the value here at this plus money with Bradish, who's been, say Cy Young level pitcher post All-Star break.
So you like Orioles money line better
Money
than the
line
first
full
five?
game. Full game. Full game. This is a full game.
Bang. Yeah, it's plus 120. I think it's a great play, dude. I really do. The Orioles, I think this game should be closer to like plus 100 for the Orioles, considering how good the Rangers have played. And like John Gray is probably slightly better, but they shouldn't be this much dog. So I agree with you. You're getting value on the Orioles. Yeah. I think it's a pretty solid play, and I think you're going to have a great day because I love all three of your plays. So, Jake, again, drop your Twitter. Let us know where we can find you.
Yeah, one more thing to add about that Rangers play, though, is that this is a really good buy low spot for the Rangers. They've been piss hot, and I think it's time for them to start dropping some games. But Twitter is same name on here. It's Jake MLB31. That's where you can find me.
Awesome, my man. All right, we'll get to our next contestant. Again, Jake, appreciate you coming on, always giving out great plays. Before Cohen, we welcome on the next person. Any questions that we have in the chat that we got to go over?
It's not that many yet. Ask the chat to start bringing some in.
Yeah, guys, in the chat, if you guys have any questions about things, feel free to answer. We'll be answering questions kind of like before we bring someone on, then after, and all that kind of stuff. So if you got something for me, if you need me to clear something up, let me know in the chat. We definitely want to make sure that we answer some of your guys' stuff. We'll just get to the next one and then let the questions fill up, and we'll welcome on our next contestant. Oh my gosh, it's Mr. California Wager. How are you doing, my friend? We got California Wager on yet?
Good. How about you? Happy Monday.
What's going on, my man? You're 2-0 in the comp. You technically can't lose. Technically, because you haven't.
We felt
what do you
that way.
like today? Let us know. I'm excited to hear your pitch because you literally have not lost.
Yeah, no, it's been a fun start, and we went 4-0 yesterday as well in Major League Baseball, so that was great. Started out 10-2 in NPB and KBO, so it's been really nice to
Guys
to
on
get the years.
fire. On fire. You got to share the picks. What do you got for the people today?
Yeah, so today we've got for our play with the show, we're going with Red Sox money line full game. I think in terms of the pitching matchup with the starters, I don't truly have a big feel. I think it's a toss-up. But what I like more than anything is what I've seen, 9 runs a game through the first 3 games to the Red Sox. And I think that offense continues to stay hot. I also think they have a better bullpen, so push comes to shove. We get to the end of that game. I do think that they're able to handle business. Overall, though, I like what I've seen with the Red Sox, and I think that offense continues to roll. That's really my biggest push. And when I see something like this out the gate, I'm going to continue to run with that trend. And until I see somebody that can shut them down, I like following that.
I like it, man. And I think it's a good play. Only issue is that now it's minus 155. So you're on the right side of the line movement. Is that something you'd play at minus 155? Like what's your price target? Like where is it stopping at for you?
So I used to really try to make it kind of like a trademark thing that I wouldn't go over minus 150. But as I get older, sometimes you eat the juice, and you only pay the juice if you lose. So in terms of minus 155, it's still okay. I still think in terms of a full game, under minus 160, minus 165, I think it's still all right. So I think it's still in a pretty good spot. And I would still take it at that number.
Fantastic. And our model says the Red Sox should be minus 200 today. I'm just afraid because I feel like everyone has the Red Sox today. I'm looking at some splits, and it's like north of 80% are on the Red Sox. But again, like the Rangers, the public hammered the Rangers last night, and the Rangers won. Like sometimes in baseball, the handle isn't big enough to truly get, a proper gauge. I guess that's what just took me off it. But the model is right along with you, and you haven't lost yet. So you're making me want to take the Red Sox with you.
Yeah, and people can get confused too. Like there'll be people that'll use tonight's national championship as an example. It's one game. The public can get it right. I mean, you can blindly throw a dart at a wall and get one right. It happens. But I think that what you see long term does separate the guys that can truly do this and can sustain it. Because as hard as it is to pick the winners, I mean, it's as hard as it is, probably even harder mentally to be able to keep yourself in a mindset to understand value and juice, because it does really vary.
Mr. California Wager is an absolute pro. Mr. Wager, his name's Greg, but I like calling him Mr. Wager. I think it's a cool nickname. Let us know on Twitter, because you do MLB and you do a great job at it, but I would almost say you're better at Korean baseball, NPB, because like you're one of the few who I know does it consistently and wins all the time. So the fact that you're this double threat in both leagues is incredible. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, we do college baseball too. I've had a real successful year in college baseball so far. So that's been really nice. And that's kind of a credit to the books even offering it. Although we're getting shut down little by little here and there every day, it seems like. But hey, that's a credit to, finding a market that you can beat. But yeah, of course, you can find me on Twitter at California Wager, one word. You can find me on Instagram, California_wager. And yeah, we do nightly KBO stuff. We're up over 350 units in 4 years in KBO. So it's been, successful. We went 5-0 the opening night. So it's been a lot of fun. And we're back to 24-hour baseball again over here. So it's an endless running ship.
So basically, if you found California Wager 4 years ago and you decided, you know what, I'm going to put $100 in every single one of his KBO bets, you'd be up 35 grand. Yeah. That's a pretty good ROI, I'd say. That sounds good. It sounds good to me, right? All right, my man. Really appreciate you. Make sure to go follow Greg, Mr. California Wager, on Twitter. Type in California Wager. You'll find him and find all of his picks. Greg, thanks again for coming on. You're a stud. You haven't lost yet, so it doesn't get much better than you. Appreciate you, my man. Cohen, do we have any questions to answer before we get to the next person?
Yeah, so question from the chat. Can Jose Siri still pinch hit if he's inactive?
Might happen. And the question was, can Jose Siri still pinch hit if he's active? I'm already rolling with it. He might. It could screw us. I don't love it. I don't got a good answer for you, unfortunately. Jose Siri is not in the lineup. If he comes in and he registers in at bat and doesn't get a hit, we could be screwed. Now, Jose Siri is not really used in a pinch hit role. He plays center field. I don't think he's going to pinch hit if the Rays put him in the lineup, because it's not like he's this lefty killer. So I just don't think he's going to play today. If he does and doesn't get a hit, we're screwed. But again, if he does get in, I don't mind his chances to get a hit. He can get on a lot of different ways. He's super, super fast. And he's hitting the ball incredibly hard to start the year. And he's better against righties. And the Nationals bullpen is not well rested. So I kind of hope he doesn't play. But even if he plays, I'm confident. 1 for 1. How about it? Let's get to that.
Also, the chat really wants me to tell you got rated by Book It Trent.
I got rated?
Rated.
What does that mean?
I think that means that they all come in.
Oh, that's sick. I'm down to get rated.
I want you to acknowledge that you got rated.
Thank you, Mr. Booker with Trent's followers. I appreciate you guys. That's sick. I don't know what rated means, but it sounds good. I'm in for it.
Thoughts on the Cardinals tonight?
Thoughts on the Cardinals tonight? We're going to talk about that game in a little bit. I'm sure some people have some games, but if they don't, we're going to talk about the Cardinals anyway, because, of course, we talk about every single game. Next contributor, Mr. Producer, going.
We have KB on no camera, though.
KB on no camera.
We'll check to see if he's
We'll check to see if he's good.
see if he's there.
Mr. KB Sports, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You afraid to show that beautiful face of yours?
Dude, how the fuck do I get this camera on?
Oh, doesn't know how to get the camera on. Just screw it. Just talk. We can hear you awesome.
No, let me. I gotta come on with the camera. You're right. Let me exit out. I'll come back on.
Okay, he said he's going to come back on in a little bit. Do we have anyone else in the queue right now, Producer Cohen? Nobody else in the queue right now. Nobody else right now. So let's just talk about that Cardinals game. Let's talk about that Cardinals game while...
we got KB back.
Never mind, KB's back. We're back. Talk for us, KB.
I'm back, baby.
What's
Can you
up?
hear me?
I can hear you. Let's
What's
talk
going
ball.
on, Peter?
First of all, this is your first time on stream. So I'd love if you can introduce yourself to people who haven't come across your content. Let people know, a little bit of your betting history, how you handicap games, where baseball ranks on your favorite sports, all that good stuff.
Yeah, bro. So I'm KB Sports. I've been on Twitter since 2016. I kind of got started. I played JUCO in college, and a lot of my buddies, they were betting. So then I was like, what are you guys doing? And then that's kind of how into it. And then I hopped on Twitter, just started posting my plays, made a podcast. And here we are, man, just sharing picks and giving out plays. And the way I research, I really take everything into account: trends, situation factors, stats, advanced stats, you name it, Peter. And yeah, baseball is my favorite sport for sure, man.
Let's go, man. I'm excited to have you on. Excited to have you on stream all year. I remember you coming into the Twitter spaces and always having really smart plays. And the reason I respected you is you weren't afraid to fade your Cardinals. Like, you knew that team, you knew that specific spot, and you're on a couple of Prize Picks entries because I think props are not like you're way better at props than game picks. It just seems like you tend to specialize in props, which is great too because, of course, we got to be laying some Prize Picks entries. So let us know. Are these two different entries? Is this a 4-piece? Break down these picks and why you like it.
It's a two-teamer, Peter. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it's two pitchers on one play and two pitchers on another play. Have you seen that before?
Whoops.
Did you hear me?
Wait, KB, I would just start over a little bit. I think you timed out a little bit.
Oh, you're good. So basically it's 4 pitchers, but it's 2 pitchers on one bet, 2 pitchers on another bet. So it's a two-teamer. Have you seen those before?
Sorry, say that again? It's a little hard to hear you.
You're good. So it's a two-teamer. There's 4 pitchers, but it's 2 pitchers on one ticket and 2 pitchers on another square.
Love it.
Yeah. So if you're good, I'll get into it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. So the first one, it's going to be Jake Woodford. He's a St. Louis Cardinals pitcher. And then it's going to be Charlie Morton. They're going up against each other. I'm taking their Ks over 8.5. I'll start with Woodford. I'm going to make it really quick, Peter, because I don't have time to go through 4 pitchers in depth. But when you look at Woodford, 26 years old. Again, this guy's been bouncing back from bullpen to starting pitcher to the minor leagues. He's been all over the place. But this year, Ali, the manager for the Cardinals, gave him one job, and that was going to be in the rotation. He came out in spring training, dude, 17.2 innings pitched, a 2 ERA. He struck out 18 batters. And again, his quality, I don't know if you look at that as far as spring training numbers, but they ranked the quality from 1 to 10. And he had an 8.3 on that scale, so I was pretty impressed by those numbers. And then you look at this Braves team. Yeah, they faced the Washington Nationals, so their strikeouts aren't going to be extremely high right now. But if you look at last year, they were second to last, just right in front of the Angels, striking out 9.3 times per game. I like Woodford to get a huge K upside here. It's at 3.5 on the books, but I think he's capable of 5 or 6 here. He brings in a huge pitch arsenal, a sinker, a 4-seam, a change, a sweeper, a slider, a curve. The kid has some good stuff, and a lot of these Braves have not faced him before, so I think that gives him an extra advantage. I like his Ks. And again, adding on to that, as far as Woodford goes, Charlie Morton for the Braves. This guy's a stud, 39 years old. If you look at his last 6 years in the majors, he's averaging above a 10K per 9, striking out guys. He's also going for his 5th year in a row with 200 Ks. The Cardinals are a good team with good plate discipline, but as far as him having history versus the Cardinals, he's struck out every single batter in this order. I love his arsenal as far as that cutter and change. It's going to give the Cardinals a lot of problems. So I like this K prop. Woodford and Morton over 8.5 Ks combined, brother.
I mean, you sold me. Are you kidding? What a pitch. I guess my only follow-up is because I think it's a great play, and you basically sold it. I don't even have anything to add. I was looking to play the Braves today, and you're a Cardinals fan, because I think Morton pitches pretty well. Like, I think Morton will be the guy to kind of lead the charge on those Ks, and I think Woodford's going to be around 3, 4, maybe even 5, but I think Morton's going to be around 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Do you like the Braves today against the Cardinals? Do you like a total? As a Cardinals fan, I would love to hear your breakdown of the game in general.
Yeah, so it's been crazy 41 hits in 3 different games, or 3-game series, Peter, is pretty incredible as far as what the Cardinals did. But as far as them going out and crushing the ball tonight, I don't see that happening. I think I lean more to the under here. I think both pitchers do compete. I think a first 5 under would probably be the best bet. But as far as taking a side, I really want to stay away, dude. I know it's one of those things. The Cardinals lineup's just been too damn good, so it doesn't hurt just to pass. So that's why I'm going to kind of do in this game. I wish I had a better answer. I'm not taking the Cardinals. I'm not taking the Braves. I lean to the under, Peter.
I love it, my man. I appreciate you. Let's talk about Johnny Cueto versus Tyler Mahle. Over 8 Ks. You're taking
So-
the Cueto Meister. I hate this dude because he was my least profitable pitcher all year. I'd fade him.
He's at 9 now also. They're both at 9.
Wow.
Still take it.
Okay, yeah, so people are asking already. They're at 9 now. So you have the line on your side. First, give us the pitch, and then let us know if you play up to 9.
Yeah, so this Tyler Mahle and Johnny Cueto, they go together, guys. So it's two pitchers. I've never seen it on Prize Pick before either, but I just fell in love with them. I got them at both at 8.5. I do like 9. I don't think it ends on a push. I can definitely see both these pitchers throwing 5 Ks apiece. I'll start with Tyler Mahle, man. For Minnesota, again, he's 28 years old. The guy has a lot of upside. His fastball has jumped 2.5 miles an hour this spring training. When you look at that, Peter, and then also his ERA wasn't impressive in spring training, but when you look at what he's been doing as far as Ks go, he's right there where I like it to be, like about 10 K per 9 over his last 3 years. And looking at this Marlins team, they have struggled with strikeouts so far this year, 10.3 Ks per game as far as strikeouts go. And again, I think this Marlins team is going to continue to struggle. So I see Tyler Mahle getting about 5 or 6 Ks. So that's great. His split finger looks great. So that's what that big pitch that I'm on. And then as far as sliding over Johnny Cueto, we all know he has a new team, and I know he's a sketch guy to bet, Peter. But again,
No, the only reason he's a
his...
sketch guy to bet is because I can't nail him. Sometimes he looks like Cy Young when I fade him, and then when I take him, he looks like me on the mound. He looks like he took me hungover on a Saturday morning and was like, "Hey, go pitch against the Reds." Like I would give up 30 runs like Cueto does whenever I tail him. He's good in I can't figure him out. He's the anti-Cal Quantrill. So I can't tell him. I don't know how to play him. So I'm glad you're on him today, and you have a really good angle, and you have the line movement on your side. But continue about Johnny Cueto.
Yeah, so Johnny Cueto, again, he's definitely – I'm not a huge fan of him, like you mentioned, but he is a first half. If you look at his whole career, he's way better in the first half, especially with his Ks, and that's, again, why I'm targeting as far as the Ks go. He also gets the Twins today. If you look at the Twins, they've struck out on average 8.6 times per game, and this lineup, the way it's lining up, I like it a lot for Cueto. And again, he's faced this Twins team a lot before. And if you look at his last 4 games last year versus them, he's got above 5 Ks in 3 of those last 4 games in 2022. I think he can get 5 tonight. We're not asking for a ton. It's just 10 Ks combined with both these pitchers. Give me the over, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mally's due for 6 or 7 on his own, and then Cueto against the lineup that he knows and how to get outs. I like both plays, dude. I think you're on the right track of both. I'm really excited for your day. Again, as you part, let people know where they can find you on Twitter with all your great plays.
Yeah, brother, and thanks for having me on. I'm on my phone. I'll be on my computer next time, so hopefully the audio is a lot better. But yeah, you can find me on at @KBSports_. I tweet out my plays there, and you can also you can hit the link in my bio if you want to see where I post my videos as far as the podcast go. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Peter.
You're a stud. I'm excited to have you on all year. It's your first day on stream, so unfortunately we don't have a record for you yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be very strong this year. Appreciate you, KB, and we'll talk to you very soon. Next time on stream, how about it?
Peter. Yes, sir. Be good,
Peace
bro.
out, dude. Okay. Producer Cohen, we got next up, or should we answer a question in the meantime?
We have someone next, but we can answer your question.
Oh, you know what?
Why not?
Flag switching time.
Do you want to talk about that Cardinals game? Or?
Oh, no, he kind of broke it down. Yeah, I don't have a... Flag switching time. I don't have a lean on that game. Like, I like the Braves, but I don't like them enough. It's one of those games where I have to see what Morton looks like. Because he's a guy who last year was coming off a broken leg in the World Series. Like, everyone's like, oh, he's old and washed up. Yeah, he's old, but he was pitching on, like, a bum leg. It's kind of similar to Ronald Acuna Jr. after he tore his ACL. Now he's killing the game. The reason I like the Braves is because I think the market is undervaluing him based on what he did last season. I think they might even be bigger favorites in this game, especially coming off a loss. But again, I don't know what I'm going to get. I think I do, but it's not enough conviction for me to look at the Braves. But if you want to lean, I lean the Braves in this matchup. I think they're the better team, and I think they end up winning this game, even though the Cardinals have looked excellent. That's why it's a tough bet. It's a tough game, but I would lean the Braves. Next up on the docket,
We got Nick.
we got Nick.
We got Nick.
We got one half of Capwise, my guy Nick. Nick, how are you, my friend? Good to see you. It's Monday. You feeling good?
No, we can't hear him.
Oh, we can't hear you, Nick.
There we go. Should be able to hear.
Perfect. Now I hear you.
Had the wrong microphone selected.
You're all good, my friend. Tell us your plays of the day. Who you got on the docket? First pick. Ooh, Minnesota.
Yeah,
Minnesota Twins money line -125. Tell us why you like it.
Yeah, I love the Twins today. So we just heard KB talking about Tyler Mahle. It sounded like you were kind of on board with Tyler Mahle to have a pretty good day today as well. And I agree as well. I think that Tyler Mahle is due for a pretty good game here. He's healthy this year. He was a little bit banged up last season, only started 23 games. And I think getting out of Cincinnati is huge for him. Tyler Mahle has been pretty notable as a guy over the course of his career, especially the last couple of years, as a player with really, really, really awful splits at home, an excellent performance on the road. So now, obviously, he's pitching in Miami, which is
Wait,
not,
can I tell you a quick story, Nick, about Tyler Mahle? So
yeah, absolutely.
I think it was in 2021. He was a guy who I locked in originally because it was through the first month of the season. He was getting blown up at Great American Ballpark, and then he would just throw shutouts on the road. And I was like, what is with this dude? So I think it was a start in May. I tailed him on the road, shoved. And I'm like, okay. Then I was like, I'm going to test this system. Faded him at home, and I think he gave up 8 runs. He is so inconsistent home road. I'm interested to see now that he's on the Twins how that's going to factor. But there's no doubt that there's something about a road atmosphere that he really soaks in, and he has just been objectively better by basically every stat when he's on the road, which is so different than most starters. Most starters like sleeping in their own beds. Maybe they got a wife, maybe they got a husband. I don't know. But they're staying at home, and they normally pitch better in their own ballpark with the fans behind them. Not Tyler Mahle. He loves getting booed. So tell us again, Twins are on the road here, so you're already on the right track of his splits. Again, just continue.
Yeah, and I don't really think that it matters necessarily him being on the road or at home here, right? Because as long as it's not in Cincinnati,
yes,
I think we're good. I mean, so his FIP in his career is more than a run higher in Cincinnati versus at every other ballpark combined. So it's just a Cincinnati versus not Cincinnati thing for him. So in Miami, in Minnesota, I don't care. I like Tyler Mahle quite a bit. On the flip side, we got Johnny Cueto. Again, just talking about him, but he's kind of old. His stuff got a lot worse last year. His strikeout rate, swinging strike rate down quite a bit last year. And as he's getting older, I think that's something that we can expect to continue to happen. So bats on the Twins, I think we just see balls in play. And I'm going to take my chances that especially with that bad Miami defense, that we see the Twins put some runs on the board.
I like it, my man. And right now it's -125 on BetMGM. That's playable. Because I think what you got you have it at -125 anyway.
Yeah,
so
I locked it at the same number.
Fantastic, man. And I don't know if you've been watching the Marlins lately.
Not good. Team. No, they're not.
No, they're not.
They had weirdly short lines against the Mets, and weirdly short line again here against the Twins. But some people might look at it and say it's sketchy, it's a trap. I'm happy to just take the value.
Yeah, and I mean, if we look at win total bets right at the beginning of the season, these teams were power ranked pretty close to each other. I think the Twins total was around 83.5. The Marlins was around 79.5. You have the Marlins at home as a dog with Cueto, who's been good over the past season. Even he technically, I think, had a better season than Tyler Mahle. So the line may look weird because you look at a Twins team as we sit here today and they're like, oh, yeah, they're way better. That's a weird line. But I see what the book is doing. When the Marlins are at home, they played their whole series at home. They didn't have to travel. The Twins do. So the line makes sense to me. So I definitely lean the way that you're going with the Twins. I think it's a solid bet. But we have another one for you. We got the Boston Red Sox taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. And you're fading my model. You're saying, screw it. Give me the over. And I think line movement is on your side. Yeah, we're already getting 9.5, but it's at plus 100 in the market. So
yeah, I think and over 9.5. Yeah,
but you're on the right track here, and I agree with you. I think the model is way off. I don't know how this game goes under, considering how good the Red Sox offense has been, and I don't know what I'm going to get from Cutter Crawford. So let us know why you like the over.
Yeah. So I have this at closer to 10 runs. I think 9.5 plus 100 is fine. I'd still play it there. I'd rather take the 9 minus 120. I think a 9.5 plus 100 is more equivalent to like a 9 minus 130 ish if you're looking for a comparison between the two. But yeah, so we've got Johan Oviedo and Cutter Crawford on the mound. Both of these guys kind of moving between the bullpen and the rotation over the last couple of years. And both of them performing a lot worse as starters, especially Oviedo. In his career, 5.2 xFIP as a starter, 3.46 xFIP coming out of the pen. So we see a lot of players have tendencies like that. I mean, it's easier to be a reliever. You can go a little bit harder for less time. But Oviedo, it's been pretty extreme for him. So that combined with how hot the Red Sox bats are, we've seen exactly 9 runs from them all 3 games. And like you were saying, Cutter Crawford, a little bit of an unknown. He's also been a little bit worse as a starter than coming out of the pen. Not as extreme as Oviedo, but still. So him and the Red Sox pen, which has given up 8 runs this year, plus 15-mile-an-hour wind blowing out at Fenway. I think we just have a lot of components kind of all pointing towards an over, even though it is the highest number of the day.
You sold me. Like I was looking to play the over. It's just for some reason the model just doesn't I don't get it. I think it's going to be wrong there, and I think you're going to be right. I think it's a very solid play. Would you play it let's say, I mean, on BetMGM, the great thing about it too is that, they have all the totals listed, right? So you can bet on 9 at maybe a little bit more juice. But let's say someone isn't using our code JB200, bet $10 on an MLB game and get $200 for credits. Let's say they're so dumb that they don't want to do that. You have 9.5 on book. Would you play 9.5, or is 9 your cutoff?
I think a 9.5 plus 100 is fine. I'm pulling up MGM right now, seeing what this number's at, and also on MGM you can actually do alt lines.
Exactly.
So so it looks like 9.5 plus 100, and it looks like I can't find it. I'm not exactly sure where the alt lines are, but it's probably 9 minus 130. I'd probably rather take the 9.5 plus 100 at those numbers, but a 9 minus 120 would be the preferred.
I got it right here. So it's the line is at 9 and it's 9 minus 130.
Yeah,
would you prefer
I'm showing a 9 minus 125 right now, actually.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'd rather take 9 minus 125 than a
there you go
9.5.
Perfect, my man. Do we have any more plays for Nick? No more plays. Those are the 2. Nope. Nick, again, let the people know you've already been on stream. You've already been crushing it. Let us know where they can find you.
So a couple different places you can find me. I think the best place is on Twitch, twitch.tv/cap_wise, CAPE_WIZE. The plan for us, Ben and I, is to be live 11:30 a.m. Eastern every single day of the entire MLB season, going through every game on the slate. Also on Twitter, my personal handle is at Nick__Granered, which is my last name, GRANERED. Bit of a weird one, but don't get to choose that.
Perfect, my man. Really appreciate you coming on. And we'll see you hopefully tomorrow to give us some more winners. Good luck on your picks today. I definitely lean both the ways that you're leaning and betting. So appreciate you, my man.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Producer Cohen, who we got next up? Do we have any questions to answer beforehand, or?
Well, they want to know, first of all, if I can get you better headphones.
I can't hear anything. I'm trying my best. I'm pressing it against my ears because for some reason it's faint. It's early in the stream. This is the 3rd or 4th day we've done this. It's a learning process. Give me a break. I'm trying my best, and we're going to get you winners. That's the point of the stream, is to get you winners. Whether I look the best, I shaved, by the way. Did you guys see my Amish beard that I've been rocking? It's a sorry excuse for facial hair. I'm shaved. Next step, get better headphones. It's a learning process. We're getting better every day. We already start with the winners. Then I get a haircut. Then I get better headphones.
Not mid-majors on.
Rome wasn't built in one day. Mid-major Matt. One of my favorite people of all time. Unfortunately, I'm going to press my headphones so I can hear your gorgeous voice talk ball. What's up, dude? Tell me what plays you like today.
What's up, handsome? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Cool. What's up, handsome? The beard looks good. As a younger man, start learning those grooming tips now. Trust me, the ladies do not mind it. Trust me.
And that's the reason why I'm not pitching for the Yankees right now. I'm a late bloomer. I'm just starting to get beard. Just now. I'm 25 years old. I'm like just figuring out how to shave. That's why I'm not on the mound for the Yankees. I'm a late bloomer. Like the Jack Harlow
At 33 years old, Peter, I haven't shaved a day since I was 12, so I don't have any room to talk there. Don't worry about my opinion on that one.
Perfect. Let us know what you're on today. First pick. Ooh,
yes, so
you're fading me. You're fading me, my man. You got the Cubs through the first 5. Moneyline, let's hear the pitch because I'm going to hate it.
To a degree, yes. So it's not a sexy pitch. It's really, I found the line very odd. First off, I don't know what to think of Connor Overton. Obviously, he was stretched out to be a starter last year, but he made a handful of starts. So I don't really know what he's going to look like in a full-time position. Like you said, in your pitch, which I do agree with to an extent, this would be a spot to fade the Cubs going on the road. But what I found in reading that line, as you mentioned, was I found it very odd that the Cubs opened up as a favorite on the road, going from a home series to a road series at Cincinnati, where Cincinnati has handled their last 2 opponents. Obviously, it was the Pirates. It was not a big deal for them. It was not hard for them to do. But I found it very odd, and maybe it's just the Cubs getting a lot of love, which they're a very public team. They have a lot of fans. Maybe it's that, but I'd rather trust Drew Smyly in the first 5 as opposed to Connor Overton. Connor Overton's stats today don't bode well for him in his short stint. So I think if he's going to give up any runs, it's early and often, and I'll back the Cubs in the first 5 on the money line.
That makes sense because I think I personally think that due to the Cubs not having their better swingman in the middle is where the Reds like 6th, 7th inning could end up winning the game, but I could see the Cubs. Mm-hmm. And what's great, you're taking the first 5 money line. So let's say it's 2-2 in the 5th. It pushes. Obviously, we want bets to hit, but I could easily see the Reds being the home team, maybe coming back at the end while the Cubs win the first 5. So at least you're not full fade. We could both technically win these bets, which I'm excited about.
Yes, we can. Absolutely, we can. I just think it just seems like a very odd line to me, short price. So I think it's worth the value for backing Smyly and a pretty rough Cubs lineup as we've seen. Although they've played against the Brewers pitching staff, which you have to put some emphasis on that. But I until I see more out of Connor Overton, I think, in a longer term sample size, I don't want to put money on him.
I think it's fair. I mean, I view it as being scared, but we all have our opinions. No, Matt.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's get to your next one.
No,
go ahead. Wrong. Sorry, I could barely hear you. So
opinions.
Say it again.
Yeah, absolutely. Opinions are like assholes. We've all got them, right?
We've all got them. Love them, my man.
We've all got them, brother.
Nationals team total under 3.5. You think they're just gonna suck it up today? Tell us why.
Well, they're gonna suck all year, as you referenced in the Just Baseball preseason video, referencing their team. Per Peter Appel, the Nationals are the worst lineup in the league. That's quotations from your Just Baseball video. And do I trust the worst lineup in the league against Drew Rasmussen, a pitcher nobody knows of that doesn't actually delve into baseball, with one of the best cutters in the league? I do not. Peter, how many runs did the Nationals score yesterday? Do you know?
4.
Do you know how many runs they scored after the first inning?
0. I had the under in the game, so I was hyped.
0.
I was like, the Nationals are scoring. How's that possible? And then they showed why they're the Nationals and didn't put up another run the entire game.
Yes, they got walked a shit ton of times. I think Juju Smith-Schuster for the Braves, he looked awful in that first inning. He settled down quite nicely, but Drew Rasmussen, who I know Javon Deeb is a very intellectual baseball brain who I trust very highly. Yeah, he loves Rasmussen this year. Yeah, and I'm actually absolutely backing his knowledge with Rasmussen with one of the best cutters in baseball against our lineup, who is awful against the cutter, and just an awful lineup altogether.
So it's at -140 right now to go under on BetMGM. So you have a 5-cent line movement in the direction that you would want. Are you still good playing it at -140 for the people?
Yeah, I think it was a unit to win about 0.71. It's probably 0.67 now. I'll take that. I don't think they score 4 today. And I just love what he does against this lineup. And on the road, I think a lot of people don't respect the Rays, But the Nationals, after just beating the Braves and ruining a lot of parlays yesterday, they're going to look like a pretty juicy home dog at plus around 150, 160 or so. So I think Rasmussen just shuts the door on this lineup.
Dude, this is one of my favorite plays. I would even consider under 2.5 at plus 135. Like,
I would completely agree just for the value, honestly.
They could legit not score a run. Like, I even think under 1.5 if you want to go crazy at plus 275. Like, that's not a bad play, I swear. Because the Nationals, they don't match up well against Rasmussen. He's elite.
Mm-hmm.
The book hasn't really adjusted to him yet. Like, right now, the Rays, what's the money line on this game? Minus 185. Like, the Rays, realistically, with how good Drew Rasmussen, should probably be minus 205 or something like that.
Yeah, what do you make this price if Rasmussen's pitching at home? 250?
Probably. Minus 260.
Yeah, so I don't give the Nationals a chance to win this game, honestly, with Rasmussen on the bump.
It might even be worth it to lay the juice on the Rays at minus 185. Like, I don't see how they lose. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know many people who are trying to bet the Rays money line and a parlay, but smart baseball bettors are, and I think I'm part of that select few, in my opinion at least.
Well, Matt, you killed it again. Not a shocker to me.
We tried.
Let people know where they can find you on Twitter and where you post all your plays so they can because obviously you gave us 2 today, but of course you're probably going to have a pick on the what is it? What is the term? It's the national championship in college basketball. I don't know shit about college basketball, so forgive me.
Yeah.
So let us know where they can find you.
The Twitter handle is in the name, the not mid-major Matt. That's all I've got going on for my life right now. But I do have one prize pick square I will give out really quick if that's okay, Peter.
It's more than okay. Is it okay?
So,
yes, it's okay. Tell
absolutely.
me.
So you could find this on the best sportsbook in the world, BetMGM, or on one of the wonderful betting apps that we have in Prize Picks. It's Zach Plesac over 17.5 pitching outs. This isn't sexy, but a couple reasons I like this. First off, it opened at over 17.5 minus 105 to the over. It's now minus 125. So love the line movement there. Secondly, I love that the A's did absolutely nothing against Patrick Sandoval and Tyler Anderson for the Angels. Both lefties who throw a wicked changeup. That's the complete opposite of what Zach Plesac does. So maybe the A's have a tough time adjusting to Zach Plesac. Also, Plesac is, I think, the 4th or 5th starter for the Guardians. They'll let him get beat up. We've seen the Guardians just let him string out there for 6+ innings, allowing 5+ runs. I think that's the mentality they have going into today, especially after that Mariners series where their bullpen was just abused. So do I think in a game where the total is 7 and the line movement's on the under, where that's where the sharp money is, do I think that Zach Plesac can't give me a quality start? Absolutely not. And I'm backing him to do so against, again, probably one of the bottom 3 lineups in the league in the Oakland A's.
I think it's smart, dude. And I also, when you said it too, right, because you have over 17.5 pitching outs, I'm like, they gave Plesac a 17.5. That's a big line for a guy like that. But then I thought to myself, he's facing the AAA Oakland A's in a pitcher's park. He might just get 18 straight ground balls and throw a no-hitter. Like, I think that's a great play, dude. The line is really high. It's scary, but it's smart. It's smart, mid-major.
Yeah, and again, after yesterday where they used almost all their best arms, all their best long relievers outside of Karinchak and Clase and the Guardians, who aren't long relievers, it tells me, or I'm reading, that they're going to want to push Plesac as far as he can go. And do I think the A's can push Plesac out before 6 innings? I personally don't. Not from what they've shown me this year. I'll take the risk for it.
Great stuff. You're the man. We'll be seeing you on stream all season long. Appreciate you, dude. Have a great rest of your day. W's for mid-major in the chat. Appreciate you, my guy. Any questions in the chat? Producer Con.
Who's a guy you like to steal a bag today?
Do I like to steal a bag today?
Who's a guy that you like to steal a bag?
Who's a guy I like to steal a base today? Give me Bobby Witt Jr. to steal a base. He's so due. He's going up against bum. No, he's not a bum. He's not a bum. He just didn't pitch very well last year. I misspoke, but his name is Jose Barrios. You use whatever adjective you want to use to describe Jose Barrios. I think he's going to be on base. He has some of the fastest speed in Major League Baseball. I think Bobby Wood Jr. steals a base today. Pretty solid.
Yeah.
Producer Cohen, we got anybody in the queue?
Yes, actually we do. We have Anthony now.
Mr. Anthony Bundo of Action Network. What is going on, my friend? You came in, you delivered, and now you're back again. How are you, dude? What's going on?
Well, I didn't quite deliver. I'm 0-1. So I think I'm near the bottom of the table here. Diamondbacks got out to an early lead. Will Smith did me in on opening day. I'm feeling good. I didn't watch either game today, but I have MLB home run notifications on. I just kept getting bombarded with Brewers and Giants. So I guess it was a good day for them at the office, but excited for a pretty good Monday night baseball slate.
So you haven't been on since opening day, and you took the Diamondbacks, but they were plus 150. So it's like,
Correct.
you know, those bets hit about 43, 44% of the time because of the implied probability. So we didn't get them this time, but you have another underdog today. So before you get into your pick, let us know kind of your background in baseball betting for anyone who wasn't able to tune in opening day.
Yeah, so I've been betting baseball pretty consistently for 5 or 6 years now, since I've been in college and went to Syracuse, studied, journalism side of things, and have always been interested in the data and the analytics side of stuff. So have built out some cool things. And from a baseball betting perspective, I try to find an edge in pitching. I think that, the projections are very good on on what the hitters are going to do on a night-to-night basis, but you can certainly find things that maybe the market is not quite picking up on with younger pitchers, with more inexperienced guys on a week-to-week basis as people come up and using, not just stuff like xERA and xFIP, which of course are valuable, but going even deeper into stuff like Stuff Plus, which you'll hear me talk about a lot, which is from the Eno Saris model from The Athletic. I use that a good amount, and looking through kind of how pitchers are changing is, I think, what you can really get an edge on, especially in an early season environment. I did have a big bet on Tampa on Sunday. Jeffrey Springs came through for me, and I think he, as well as guys like Rasmussen and Eflin, are definitely bet on pitchers, and there's some guys I'm looking to go against as well.
Fantastic, man. And you do all your work for Action Network. We're excited to have you this season and deliver us some winners. And you're going right back into the well, Anthony. Right back into the well. You said the Diamondbacks hurt me once. You can't hurt me twice. Why do you like the D-backs today?
Look, they're going to hurt me a lot. I bet them twice this weekend. They did get the big split in LA, which is a good start to the season. I'm going to go with Arizona plus 120, plus 125 against San Diego. Look, I'm a big believer in Ryan Nelson. He had a very inconsistent spring, but I know the stuff is there. His Stuff Plus grades out well above average based on the Saris model. He's really improved his. There were some problems with command, but when you go down and you look at some of these Diamondbacks minor league stats, you have to almost take them with a grain of salt, because I know he gave up a lot of homers in AA and AAA, but the hitting environments out there in the PCL in those parks are just so friendly for hitters. It's kind of Coors Light in a way, in the sense that a lot of fly balls are flying there. And so if you are a guy who's going to give up a few more fly balls, they're much more likely to stay in the park, in a park like Arizona, where they put the humidor in, and they've really turned that into a pitcher's park. So I think it's and even in San Diego tonight, where it's a pretty friendly pitcher's park. So I'm a much bigger believer in him than I am in Weathers. Ryan Weathers had pretty mediocre strikeout minus walk rates anytime he's been in the majors pitching in these roles. So I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks, as I'm seeing Nick make fun of me for saying Coors Light. That was not intended, but we'll go with it. So I like Arizona, and I also like Baltimore. Kyle Bradish is somebody who it was the tale of two seasons for him. Before going down to the minor leagues, pre-June, he was pretty terrible. Gave up, had a 6.9 ERA in the first stint in the majors, but he changed his approach a little bit, relying less on the fastball, more on the slider, his best pitch. And since coming back up, lowered his ERA below 4 in the second half of the season. The projections are putting him back in that high 4 range. And that's what the market is kind of pricing him at. But I actually think he's much better than that. I think the new Bradish is more of what we're going to see from him as opposed to the old one. So I'm a big believer in Baltimore and Arizona tonight. A couple underdogs. And if we get one, we'll have a profitable night. If we get neither, then I might have to banish myself from the show.
No, you're definitely not banishing yourself, because you're freaking excellent. And I loved your breakdown of both these two guys. Ryan Nelson, I remember last season, I bet on a start where Dre Jamieson was making his first start. And everyone told me I was an idiot because Dre Jameson had like a 7 ERA in the PCL, because it's like pitching on the moon. It's like pitching at Colorado every single game that you have, because that's the entire league is like that. They play a lot of games at elevation. It stinks to pitch at. A pitcher like Brandon Pfaadt, right? You look at his ERA in the PCL and you're like, oh, how good is this guy? But then you realize he led the minor leagues in strikeouts while pitching on the moon. So he must be pretty damn good. Ryan Nelson is another guy whose ERA in the PCL didn't look great, but a guy who has really good stuff. And I don't think he's being priced correctly in the market either. I think the Diamondbacks are a great play here. I think Ryan Nelson is better than Ryan Weathers. And I think if you get guys on base for the Diamondbacks, they're so damn fast that they can wreak havoc on the base pass. I think you and I are aligned on this. Diamondbacks over 74.5 wins was one of my biggest preseason bets. I love this team. And the fact that they went 2-2 against the Dodgers kind of shows that this is a team to be reckoned with. They have guys at every position who I say, yeah, I like Jake McCarthy in the outfield. Yeah, I like Ketel Marte at second, Christian Walker at first, Josh Rojas at third. The only player I don't really like is Geraldo Perdomo, but hopefully Jordan Lawler comes up and ends up making an impact for the Diamondbacks. And then you're speaking about the Orioles. I'm a Bradish believer because I think he really worked on that breaking ball and it looked a lot better. Now, the problem with Bradish is the fastball sucks. And by run value is one of baseball's worst pitches. But I think a very easy switch is for him to just throw it less. And I think he's got to throw that slider more. We still see with Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease is a guy whose slider usage goes up and up every year because it's an elite pitch. Throw your best pitches more. I think that's what the Orioles are going to tell Bradish to do. And I think the market will adjust after they see him throw 6 shutout innings today. I think it's a great pick considering that the Rangers just played on Sunday Night Baseball. It doesn't really fit the system. But I love both of your plays. The fact that both are dogs and both line movements are going in your general direction. Last question I have for you. What is a price gauge? Like, what's the lowest price you play these at? Because right now, the Diamondbacks on BetMGM are plus 115, and the Orioles are plus 120. So how are you playing these?
Yeah, so Diamondbacks plus 115 is the lowest I will go on them. Orioles, I have a little more wiggle room in my numbers to about plus 110, where I'm comfortable taking them with Baltimore. So, yeah, definitely riding the two dogs. Agree with you on Arizona. We've talked about this, pitching and defense. Once they get Bumgarner and Davies out of that rotation and get Jameson and Pfaadt, who I agree, Pfaadt had, it really popped in spring training. The numbers out of him, the stuff plus was really impressive. And Bradish, as good as his stuff was last year, he's 105 stuff plus, 100 is considered average. He was at 115 this spring. So even more room for improvement for him.
Fantastic, my man. Anthony came on, delivered winners, hopefully, per usual.
Hopefully.
Let the people know where they can find you, like your Twitter handle or your action profile, anything to help people find your bets.
Yeah, you can find all my bets in the award-winning Action Network app, which is just my name, Anthony Dabundo, no space, Dabbundo, 2 Bs. And same thing with Twitter. Elon has not come for the checks yet, but at Anthony Dabundo on Twitter.
Awesome, man. You're one of the sharpest guys I know. Really appreciate you coming on and excited to talk baseball with you all year. I'm hoping it's profitable. I'm hoping. I think it will.
I so far we're up. I'm 0-1 on the show, but we're up a small amount. Got to grind it away. It's gonna be a long year. Can't win every day, but I hope to do that.
Hit both of these dogs, and you'll be back soon with some winners. Appreciate you, my man, and we'll talk to you soon. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Let's cash some tickets. Next
Absolutely.
up, producer Cohen. We got Crabs. Hey, how are your Nationals doing?
Not too good.
Okay.
Not too good. Hey, we take one win there from that series any day. You kidding me?
It's a good point.
One win against the Braves. That is a winning series. Victor Robles may be back. Mackenzie Gore is pretty good, but everyone else sucks. That's what I learned this weekend.
Mackenzie Gore is kind of that dude.
He's kind of nice.
He's kind of nice. I really like him. And who'd you give up for Mackenzie Gore?
He was in the Soto trade.
Oh,
he was in there. But look, we both know who is the main piece coming out of that. It's big James Wood. Just wait.
I believe in your plays. I want to hear some plays today.
Yeah.
This is Crab's debut on the stream. First of all, the background is sick. Is sick. You're working at a good studio here. Orioles money line. So you and Anthony are on the same play. Orioles are a pretty popular play within this Twitch stream today, but at the same time, it's a lot of cappers I really trust, and you as well. So let us know why you like the Orioles today.
Yeah, that scares me a little bit right off the rip. Not gonna lie, but you know what? We're not backing down. Okay, it's the Orioles. It's Bradish. I know his hits prop got bumped up on Prize Picks. I know the Orioles went from plus 115 to plus 120. We learned last year though, the Orioles don't really care about line moves. They don't really care about.
They're like Miami in college
college
basketball. They're like the Guardians.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter line movement.
Yep.
But there's specific teams in Major League Baseball where it doesn't really matter. Orioles are one of them.
100%. 100%. I like the top of that lineup, the way they're hitting, obviously coming out of Boston there, hitting there, putting up those runs in the cold. I thought that was pretty impressive. This Orioles team continues to be undervalued, underrated by the books. And I think we hop on them early at plus money early in the season before they start becoming favorites in games like this. And who knows what the heck we're going to get out of John Gray today. I mean, let's be honest here. Dude is all over the place. I have no idea. I don't think it's a very good matchup for him here, but we love Bradish and we love the Orioles at plus money. The splits are pretty fire too.
I like the pitch, Mr. Krabs. And so you always get scared if other people, are on a ton of things, line move and all that stuff, and you've made a killing based on that logic. But in baseball, I always say, unless it's an overwhelming public, right? It's 85, 90%. It's hard to take a handle on an Orioles-Rangers game on a Monday, super seriously. It's not like the NFL. It's not even like college basketball or any of that stuff.
That's a good point.
So I think you look at it, but I still think you're on the right side here. I guess that's the main point, is even with the line movement, I think you and Anthony are still on the right side here. I think Bradish is maybe as good as John Gray. Now, the numbers wouldn't back that up, but I think we're going to see it today. But you got another pick for us.
Yeah,
The
and I do
Angels
think that
versus
game
the Mariners under in one of my favorite pitching matchups of the day. Reed Detmers, George Kirby. It's going to be awesome. I kind of wish I played this under because it sounds awesome, and you got it at plus 100. Right now, we're looking at it still at plus 100 too. I love it at plus money. Why do you like it?
Yeah, I like both these young arms. I really do. Kirby, never seen a guy more accurate, throw more strikes than that guy, fill up the zone. You're not going to be pissed off like you're watching Patrick Corbin pitch. This guy's going to fill it up, and the Angels are going to put the ball in play. Detmers, after he came back from his injury last season, was pretty darn good. Looked like he kind of figured some stuff out down there after a poor start to the year. He's locked in. This total moved down from 7.5 to 7. Love the splits there too. How much does it matter? Probably not, but it is, a check mark in the right side there. And I love taking unders in Seattle. Plain and simple. Pitcher's ballpark, right? Total coming down. Love this. After the Angels hot start, I think both these young arms look great and keep the runs to a minimum. 3-2 here. I got LA winning.
I really like this play. And not only just because I think George Kirby's going to shove, and it's at T-Mobile Park, a bottom 5 hitters park, which means it's a top 5 pitchers park. But Reed Detmers is a young pitcher. George Kirby has already kind of established himself as one of the best young pitchers in the league. But I think now it's Reed Detmers' turn. The stuff gets better and better, and the command gets better and better. I remember maybe the worst bet I've ever taken. I had the Rays money line last year against the Angels where Reed Detmers threw a no-hitter and they lost 12-0. And that was my kind of welcome to the show of Reed Detmers. And, we've had him on some of the Just Baseball Network podcasts. Really smart guy, knows his stuff, has confidence. I think this is the year where it's kind of like, the Angels never have pitching. But then you look at Ohtani, you look at Sandoval, and I think we're going to start to put Detmers. And I think this is a great spot for him because it's not like the Mariners' offense has even been showing up, and it's in a park where they can't really hit. And the fact that you're getting a plus money and you saw that line move down, even though it's not really everyone's hammering this under, I think it's just a damn solid play, Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, it's not really, contrarian. It's not really gross, but I think it's a good baseball brain play, to be honest with you. I like it.
I think your baseball brain plays. What has been my advice for you? Trust your baseball brain.
It's got to be at least 50-50.
You know ball.
Yeah, I do know ball. I know ball. It's got to be at least 50-50 baseball brain. At least.
I can go with
That's
that.
how we're winning this year.
Krabs, is that your only plays of the day?
2 plays. 2 plays, 2 winners, quality over quantity.
Love it. Any leans on the national championship? Because I don't know anything and I'm looking to make a play.
If I were you, I would go half a unit on UConn alt line minus 9.5 at plus 130. That's what I have. I think UConn wins big. Boring game.
I saw Javon's tweet. This kind of feels like Georgia at TCU.
Yep. Could not agree more. Could not agree more. It could get ugly, unfortunately. But I got UConn minus 7.5. I got UConn alt spread minus 9.5 at plus 130. It should be a blowout.
Appreciate you, my man. Killed it once again.
Yep.
And for anyone who, for some reason, doesn't know, my friend Mr. Krabs, let us know where they can find you on Twitter and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, at Krabs_bets with a K. BTL every day, Monday through Friday, 12:30 on the Book It Sports Twitch. Talking sports, betting sports every day. You guys know where to find me. All right, got you tomorrow.
Appreciate you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon, all right?
Yep.
Anybody else left in the queue, Mr. Producer Cohen?
Not yet. Arms coming on. Should be here soon.
Arms coming on soon. Perfect. So we have one more contributor coming on. In the meantime, let's talk ball. Any questions we got in the chat real quick?
No questions right now.
No questions right now. No one's freaking out. Nobody wants to know anything. It's actually kind of a good thing, right? We're talking about a bunch of different plays, and we're getting everything settled in. This is why I'm really excited about the Twitch stream this year, right, guys? Because I remember I was doing TikTok live streams last year, and I wouldn't have a play on every game, right? I find value, and that's what I go for. But other cappers, you know, they have their own individual plays, and Arm is already live. Mr. Arm late making his debut, and now he's gone. Now he's gone. That was our producer code. Now he's in. He's back in.
Am I in?
You're in. Are you frozen?
Let's go.
No, he's not frozen. We got him.
What's up?
Co-founder of Just Baseball making his debut on stream. He's going to start giving out picks this year, and I think it's going to go well, Arm.
You do? Are you just saying that because we're like on public forum right now?
You know? No.
No.
I think you're going to provide
appreciate you having
winners.
me on, man.
I think you are. I think this is the year.
Is this the year? Okay. Here's the thing. And I want to be like the building block for like some new bettors to learn, because I have the baseball mind, right? I mean, we talk baseball every day for a bajillion hours all the time, sometimes on air, sometimes off air. Have always been a casual bettor. You have been instilling in me the ways to bet like responsibly, the ways to leverage your baseball knowledge into betting, because we always talk about how betting knowledge and baseball knowledge or sports in general are two very different things, but they can overlap nicely once you learn how to do that. So this is going to be a fun journey for me, because I feel like I've spent forever honing in on the baseball side, and now I'm honing in on the betting side a little bit more. But it should be a fun challenge as probably the least experienced like bettor of this group. So I'm already making excuses.
No, but I like it too, because you might be the least experienced bettor, but you're one of the smartest baseball minds I've ever met. So when you start to figure out the betting percentages and all that different stuff, and then use that to your advantage, you could go on an insane heater. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, I was kind of joking, like, yeah, it might take you a little while, but I think once you get the hang of it, you're going to go on an insane run, because you're going to use all these different things, find the betting percentages, find ways to handicap, see like, oh, this might be too good to be true, right? I was even talking to Colby, the Mariners-Guardians game with Gilbert, and he was like, this wasn't bad on Colby, because every single stat lined up for the Mariners. Like, it was the right pick to make. But the Guardians won 2-0. And I was like, sometimes when every stat lines up and it's too good to be true, it literally is. And I think you're going to get the hang of that. I think you're going to provide us winners all year. And I like your picks today. I already like your picks today. So I think you're on the right track. Let's start with pick number 1. You're going with the Reds, and you're going with the Cubs, and you're taking the over 9 for 1.05 units. Tell us why.
Yeah, so for me, just looking at this ball game, and I know Drew Smiley actually finished pretty strong to last year, which I think is kind of baked into this over-under, because I was expecting it to be a little bit higher. Anytime you're playing in Cincinnati, I'm interested. I thought it would be 9.5, maybe even up to 10. It's 9. Connor Overton respectfully shouldn't be in a big league rotation, and it's going to be a tough.
Please be respectful. Good xERA. He's not bad, but I see what you're saying.
I know you're on the Reds, so I know that's why. But I think between these two guys, I think they can get by. But these are two bullpens I don't love. I think the Reds bullpen could be one of the worst. The Cubs is a little bit better, but it's a little bit hit or miss. I don't think either of these guys are set up to go deep into the game. And I think that the Reds offense is sneaky good, man. Like I don't really hate that offense. Will Benson's been swinging through more pitches than he should be, but overall, like Jonathan India looks bad, like all the way back. I like the way a lot of these bats have looked. I think that they're going to put up some runs on Drew Smiley, a fly ball pitcher in Great American Ballpark, and then Overton we'll see. Even if Overton is good, like he's not going to be lights out the whole game. So I still like my chances of the Cubs kind of getting to the bullpen for a few runs, not enough to win the game, but a few runs. And I just think 9 was too low there. I could easily see a 6-4 ball game here. So that was my over. And I'm really excited. It's kind of one just that's fun to watch too. 2 fly ball guys in Great American.
I lean this way with you too, and I think especially at Great American Ballpark when it's the highest projected run environment of the day according to Ballpark Pal. So that's on your side too. And the reason I liked the Reds is because Drew Smiley is a fly ball pitcher, but I could totally see Connor Everton not having the best day ever. Like, let's say he gives up 2 or 3 runs in 5 innings. Smiley gives up 3 or 4. Now we're sitting at 6 or 7 total runs. And the reason I like the Reds is because the Cubs are without a lot of their best bullpen arms. But then the Reds are without Alexis Diaz. So I could see this game, like maybe it doesn't start off hot, but it's like one of those games where it's like, all right, maybe the Nerfy hits, but then there's a run scored. Then there's 2 runs scored. Then there's a run. It just keeps piling on, kind of similar to Twins Royals when I was on the over yesterday. It started off slow, but then it just took wind in a good run scoring environment. So I think this is a great play. First play on the stream, great pitch. I'm in.
One more little key here. Drew Smiley this spring, fastball got crushed. 4 homers in 6 games this spring off of the fastball, which he throws most of the time. So that's something that I'm interested to see. So thank you. I'm pumped about this pick.
And your next play, Anthony DeBundo is on it, who you generally like to be on because he's fantastic, working over there at Action Network and just killing the game and providing us winners. He's on the Diamondbacks too. Just tell us why you like the Snakes today.
Yeah, well, you know, we're all at Just Baseball Snakes fans this year. I think that's very clear. But Ryan Nelson, I really think is going to prove that he's one of the better and more underrated prospect arms I think out there, and I think the fastball is really going to impress a lot of people. But also on the flip side, this is a Ryan Weathers fade, dude. Like this is a Ryan Weathers fade. Like let's call it what it is. Ryan Weathers, you got to look at the reasons why guys are starting, right? Like that's always something that stands out to me is like, is this team fully just drowning and needs to spot start somebody and didn't have any better options? Like that's what it's like for Ryan Weathers. Look at the Dodgers situation. You might think that with Michael Grove, but they've got plenty of options. There's a reason why they're starting Michael Grove. I think when you look at Ryan Weathers, this was like, we don't have a better option and we're rolling with this guy. Fastball command wasn't that good this spring. He was brutal last year. He was brutal in AAA. There's no reason that he should be thrown out right away to go pitch in the big leagues right now. And I think it's going to be a really, really tough ball game for him. It's pretty much a straight fade of Weathers, but I also really like this Diamondbacks lineup. And it also helps that I think Ryan Nelson is really solid, had a couple really good outings against the Padres last year. It was either 2 or 3 that were just really strong. And of course, maybe some of these guys have seen him before. I don't think that really matters. It's clear that his fastball was played against this lineup, and I think it will continue to.
So Ryan Nelson made 3 starts last year. His best start was his first one in San Diego. He threw 7 shutty. Let's get that today from Ryan Nelson because he can do it. He was one of the pitchers who destroyed the system we talk about all the time. Fading a rookie in their first start on the road. You know who said, screw your system? I'm throwing 7 shutties. Ryan Nelson came out and shoved. And then he faced the Padres again and did pretty well. Like, the Padres have seen him a couple times, but they can't seem to hit him. And this Padres lineup, dude, like, we're going to talk about on the Just Baseball show. Like, they piss me off. I knew they're frauds. I'm calling my shot early. I just think, like, they're like Team USA-esque. Right? Like, they got so much star power, but, like, I need to see them do this with their hands together. You know, just
also
just
like
do this.
Tatis is like so sorely needed. Obviously, he's not. He's going to be the guy that kind of could put this lineup over the top. But for right now, the back end, it drops off. So that's one side of it. Also, you could say, oh, there's a familiarity that comes here with Ryan Nelson. Maybe they've seen this guy a few times now. But honestly, the first time they faced Ryan Nelson, they knew what they were getting. It's fastballs. It's four-seam fastballs. They had the scouting report from the minor leagues where he threw it, I think, almost 70% of the time. Now he throws it even less in the big leagues, and he's continued to refine the secondary stuff. So, one, I'm really excited to just watch him pitch from a baseball standpoint. Two, we actually brought up the first start on the road thing when we were talking about Jared Schuster on the Just Baseball show today, and I was talking about your system, about how that system is just money every single time. But I really, this is a straight fade of Ryan Weathers, and I think Ryan Nelson can hold his own.
I love it, my man. Next play. Oh, the Colorado Fighting Rockies plus 1.5. Come on. This is a bet.
Yeah.
This is a bet against the Los Angeles Dodgers. I want to hear this pitch because I'm on the under because I think Feltner has a good day, but at the same time, I think Grove has his way a little bit with the Rockies. But something that's on your side too, dude. The Rockies play the Dodgers tough. They do all the time. They play these division rivals tough. You get the Rockies on the road against like a White Sox team or some team like they've never faced, they get ballooned. But in these matchups, they keep the game close. I want to hear the pitch for why Rockies plus 1.5 because I know nobody's on this, which makes me love it.
Well, that was the first thing. I was like, for my debut, I need to just wild with like one pick. And, you know, I know that the under was a great play. Obviously, you love it. And I'm thinking, man, the Rockies have been scrappy. They've been swinging it a little bit. I like Grove in this start. I do. I see why you played the under. But I do think they can get to Grove for a couple runs, maybe one or two. If they get to Grove for a couple runs, dude, I don't need them to win. I just need them to lose by less than 2. I really do think Feltner is going to surprise, and I think a big reason why people aren't on him is because you see the spring training stats. You see what he did in the big leagues. But this is a guy that is a prime candidate to pitch better away from Coors. He's heavy. He's ground balls. And honestly, man, I don't like this Dodgers lineup that much. Aside right now, I think it'll get there. But right now, I don't like it. And this is an opportunity to capitalize on that. I still think the Dodgers are priced in a way where, you know, we are thinking of the 111 win Dodgers. We're thinking of the Dodgers that scored 10 runs the other night. But if you look aside from that 3 home run Trace Thompson performance, you look at the rest of their games, they have not been hitting that well. And I think a ground ball pitcher is exactly what could just get this lineup to get out. You get in a rhythm with the pitch clock. All of a sudden, we're going to blink. We're in the 6th inning, and it's 1-1. And I think that is exactly what I'm hoping for. And at that point, just keep it within 1 run. I love the way the Rockies are swinging the bats right now. I think they've been able to piece it together bullpen-wise, even without Daniel Bard. I think, you know, hopefully he gets back soon. But, you know, not having that blow-up potential with the way he was struggling also kind of makes me feel a little bit better right now. This is kind of a fade of the overvalue of the Dodgers lineup.
I mean, that's a pitch. That's a pitch. I love it. I'm in. I think it's a great play, dude. I think the Rockies might win. I think you're not going to be kicking yourself because this bet loses. I think you're going to be kicking yourself because, like, why didn't I take Rockies plus 185 or something like that?
Line?
Would you, like, for any of our listeners listening who are, like, loved your pitch, it's not going to be tracked, but would you play Rockies money line? Like, do you think the value is there enough? Because right now, when I look at BetMGM, the Rockies are plus 180. So it's a lot different from that minus 110. Do you think they could pull it out? Like, is it worth, like, you know, you're putting 1.1 units on the minus 110. Is it worth putting a half unit on the money line?
Logan Smith is in. He said he's putting 10 units on every RM play. Please don't. For the sake of your money, please don't. You'd be much more profitable or doing, you know, tailing Peter. But yes, let's tail the Rockies. I'm all in on Rocktober. Again, I think this is the time to get in on some of the teams that are, you know, a lot of people like to would you say the Dodgers are the most bet team? Like, do most people tail the Dodgers as of last year? Like, was that one of the most commonly bet teams last year?
Yes, last year. The 3, from what I see, like, it's consistent. The Yankees, the Dodgers, and the Astros they get hammered every day. So it's like, they win, you know, they'll win 100 games this year, you know, but they'll lose 62 or maybe 65 or maybe even 70 this year with one of them. So those 3 teams I feel like are always overvalued in the market. Like, however good they are, they're just always going to get hammered. So the Dodgers certainly, like, Of course, everyone's on the Dodgers today. They're at home against Ryan Feltner. You Google Ryan Feltner spring training stats, and you see, oh, this guy had a 78,000 ERA in spring training. I'm putting in Dodgers -1.5. And then it's like at the end, you watch it, it's like, hey, this Feltner guy like dominated today. What happened? Like, yeah, like that happens to the Dodgers all the time.
And here's the thing: is spring training, right? It's in Arizona. Ball flies out there. He gets a lot of ground balls, honestly, and I don't think that the numbers in spring fully are indicative of what this guy can do. And you look at some of the advanced data, like the ground ball stuff, like I think it's going to translate. So I'm excited to see how he does in LA. I love just having this like underdog bet that you get to root for. And it's even more fun when like they don't even have to win. So I'm looking forward to that. I had to throw in Rocktober. I had to throw in the boys over here. Hopefully Feltner can hold it down. I am a little worried about Grove because I do think he's going to throw pretty well. But again, I think this is going to be a really low scoring game. This could be like a one of those weird 2-1 games, which would be great for me.
Great for me too. Aram, you're a beast. Love having you on, my friend. And
Can't wait to do more.
Be talking tomorrow for our Wednesday episode of the Just Baseball Show.
Hell yeah.
Again, anyone new, like, you know, I know some people are coming in from Trent's stream or, you know, just the casual fan watching some baseball on Twitch. Let people know where they can find you. Just plug everything you do because it's a million different things.
Yeah, well, especially for those bettors who are looking for like the prospect edge. When guys get called up, you can follow me on Twitter at RMLayton8 and check out our prospect podcast, The Call Up. But Peter and I are talking baseball tomorrow, so looking forward to doing that. And just another forum to talk to you, brother. So I appreciate you having me on your show and look forward to sneaking in here in person maybe sometimes. I don't know how we'll do that with the studio, but looking forward to starting 3-0.
3-0, my friend. Thank you again. Go follow Arm on Twitter. And producer Cohen, I think that's it. That's it. What a stream. Thank you guys all for joining. Remember, this is a competition, and the winner at the end gets tickets to the World Series. If I win, I'm giving out 2 tickets to someone who subscribes to this Twitch channel. If Arm Layton wins, he's giving out his 2 tickets to a listener of the Just Baseball Show. Same thing goes. Second place, they win 500. Same thing. Make sure you follow. Make sure you subscribe. Really appreciate you guys coming on. All the plays you could possibly, we went through all the different games, all these different plays, but we just have to remember people.
Plug Arm's Twitter one more time.
Arm's Twitter is AramLayton8. So AramLeigHton number 8. That'll do it for this episode, Monday, April 3rd. But we have to remember, people, not gambling advice.